Hi guys, so today I'll be teaching you how to make Nigerian meat pie. These are my ingredients: 1 onion, 2 carrots, 2 potato, minced meat, vegetable oil, 1 pepper, seasoning cubes, salt for taste. And now I'm going to cut the onion or slice the onion as usual. And after that, the next thing I'll be doing is to cut the carrot to the size I want it. I don't want it to be too tiny and I don't want it to be too big. It's just a 4-corner shape or size. As you can see, the size is just there. It's not really tiny. So I'm going to show you again one more time how I cut the carrot. As you can see, it's just normal. So I'm also going to do the same to the potatoes. I'll be using 2 as well, and I will still cut them the same way I cut the carrot. And after that, the next thing I'll be doing is to set it aside, because these are the main ingredients I'll be using for this meat pie filling. Now I'm going to set my hot pan on fire. While the pan is on fire, I'm going to cut my pepper. You can use the Scotch bonnet pepper or any pepper you have. Just one is enough. If you want to, no problem. While my pan is almost hot, I'll add my vegetable oil, about 2 tablespoons to the pan, and next I'll add my onion bulbs as soon as the oil is hot, and I'll stir gently. I'll add a pinch of salt, and I'll add my black pepper, thyme, and all-purpose seasoning if you have any. So this is just what I added to the pan, and I'll stir gently and add my beef or minced meat. If you don't have the minced meat, no problem. You just have to buy your beef, that's the cow meat, and cut to pieces, or you use the machine for meat grinding and you have your minced meat. So you keep stirring until the color changes from pink to brown. As you can see, the color is almost changing, and I'm still stirring gently. Now make sure you're not frying on a low heat. As you can see, my gas is my heat is high, so I'm still stirring while the meat change color. The next thing I'll be doing is to add my nut cubes. I added just 1 nut cubes to the pan, and after that I added the pepper. You can add the Scotch bonnet pepper now. The next thing I'll be adding is my potato. I added the potato I already chopped earlier, and I stir gently as well and mix thoroughly. After about a minute or so, I'll be adding my carrots to the pan as well, and this is it. I will stir as well and make sure everything blends and mix thoroughly. The next thing I'll be doing is to add 1 cup of warm water to the pan. As you can see, this helps it cook, and I will just mix thoroughly before adding 1 cube of Maggi again. This is the 2nd cube, and next I'll add another cup of water. And after about 2 minutes of mixing, I'll be adding the thickener. This makes it really juicy, and if you don't have the thickener, no problem, you can just mix your flour with water and add, and I'll mix thoroughly, and you can see the mixture is becoming thick and really juicy. The meat pie filling is now really ready. The next thing I'll be doing is to stir gently and allow it to cook for a few minutes. And as you can see, it's ready. It's not really done. It's just okay the way I want it to be. I don't want it to overcook because I'll still be baking it afterwards. So as you can see, it's ready, and this is how it looks like. What I'm going to do next is to just off the gas or lower the heat or off it, and then I will set it aside to cool down while I prepare my dry ingredients. I already have 6 cups of flour in this bowl. As you can see, you can use 6.5 cups if you want to. And the next thing I'm adding into the bowl is my 3 tablespoons of sugar. You can add 2 tablespoons or 3 tablespoons of sugar according to your own desire. And the next thing I'll be adding is my salt. So these are my dry ingredients, and I'll add 1 tablespoon of salt for taste. And I usually do this once in a while because I think it's really good for this meat pie. And the next thing I'll be doing after adding the salt is to add 1 tablespoon of baking powder. I just added 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and I'm mixing the dry ingredients together, kind of making sure everything mixes thoroughly and blends together. So before now, I already brought out my butter from the fridge just to make sure it cools down and melts. And this is the time to add my butter. I'm using 500 grams of butter, and I'll add it now. As you can see, it's already melting and already cool. I don't want it to be blocked or too cold so that my mixing can go really smooth. After adding the butter, the next thing is to mix the butter with these dry ingredients. I'm doing this with my hand, and it can really get messy, but no problem. Trust me, you just keep mixing until you get this breadcrumbs mixture. So it's still kind of sticky, but just keep mixing until you get to this level. This is what you should have. You should have something like this, really fine breadcrumbs look. And the next thing is to beat 4 eggs. You can use 3 eggs or 4 eggs if you want to. So after mixing my egg, the next thing is to make a hole at the middle of the bowl. As I'm doing, I'll just make this hole and I'll pour my egg in, and I'll kind of use a spoon to mix the egg and these dry ingredients. I'm trying to make sure I mix it with the spoon first before mixing with my hand, so it won't really be sticky and messy. So after mixing with the spoon, and now it's time for me to use my hands, I will continue as usual. I will mix with my hand and make sure I get to this point. So this is what you should have. The egg makes it really cool, and this is the look afterwards. You can add milk if you want to, but I didn't add now. But it's still not bad if you decide to add milk or warm water. Well, this is just what yours should look like if you're trying this step. So after this, the next thing is to cover my bowl with a nylon bag, a white nylon bag. As you can see, everything is together, nothing is left out. Next thing is to cover with a nylon bag, and I'll leave it to cool in the fridge or anywhere. You can just set it aside on the table or in the fridge. Anywhere you want to leave it, it's fine. But I'll be leaving it in the fridge for a few minutes. You can leave it up to hours if you want. After about 45 minutes, this is my meat pie. As you can see, it's already cool. Everything is cool, including my meat pie filling, and it's really ready. The next thing is to clear my table and make sure everything is smooth and tidied. I just want to make sure everywhere is clean because I don't just want my meat pie to be messed up with anything. So now I will dress my table for this stage. This step is very important because you want to make sure that everywhere is clean. Your hand, the table, and everything is just clean. So after dressing my table, I normally do this with flour, but you can as well roll your meat pie like that without mixing the table with flour or whatever. But this helps me because I think it's really helped the rolling go smooth, and I'll continue rolling as usual. I'll be using this plate to do my cutout. I just want to show you guys how I do it. So this is more like how it looks like, and I'll be adding just 1 tablespoon of the meat pie filling while I cover the other way around. As you can see, I'll just flip it around and then use the fork to blend them out. This is just how it should look like. I'll kind of grease my pan and make sure my pan is really clean as well, because I don't want anything like sand or dead things inside. And the next thing is to continue rolling. And yes, I'm rolling just 1 at a time because I'm trying to show you guys how I do this. But don't worry, after this stage I will still show you guys how I do this really fast, because you know we can't keep rolling one by one. So this is just like how it looks like. As you can see, I've started rolling about 4 or 3 or more at once. I normally roll all at once, like I roll everything at once and do all the cutting at once. As you can see, the meat pie is really cool. I mean, the meat pie filling is cool now, and it's usually good when it's cold because that helps your meat pie to cover or blend really well. When it's hot, it will be really difficult, you know. So this is just what I meant by rolling like multiple at once. At this point I still have this left, so what I'm going to do is to roll it, making sure my hand is still clean. And I did about 3 cut out from it, and I still have just this last one. So what I'm gonna do is to form a very big meat pie with it. So I'll just roll it out, and no need of cutting. I will just put about 3 or 4 tablespoons of meat pie filling. Use the fork as usual to knot them out, and this is it. I will as well fill this other 3 and make sure everything is okay. This is what I mean by being fast about it. You can do so many cutouts at once. So this wraps it up, and the next stage is to just beat 1 egg, and this egg is what I'll be applying on the meat pie at the top or the body or whatever, but just make sure you apply it all over. Well, you can use your brush if you have your brush, but I'll be using my hands to apply it. As you can see, this is the number of meat pie I rolled or I got from this mixture, about 20 of them or so. We are not really in a competition, so take your time to do the blending and make sure everything is in order, and it's time to bake. And I will just place it inside the oven. You can use the medium heat or low heat. I don't usually use high heat to bake though. You can as well use high heat if you really want to. So you can see the color is still baking, and this is what it looks like while still in the oven. I will just turn it around for you to see. So after about few minutes, it's ready, and it's just kind of so yummy. I'm still kind of trying to test it, though it's very hot. You can allow it to cool or whatever, but trust me, it's really nice and juicy. And inside is not dry because at the beginning I added the thickener and it was really sweet and so yummy. Trust me, you can always try this anytime you want to do it. I did this at night, though it was very late because I was kind of late that day. I came back from work so late, so I just got no choice than to do it at night because I will still be back to work in the morning. So you can really do this at any time, and after leaving it in the fridge for the next day, this is how it still look like, still fresh. As you can see, this is just straight from the fridge. Even though it's kind of cold, you can microwave it or heat it up with the oven, or anyhow you want to make it kind of warm. So this is just what it looks like, and trust me, you can preserve it in the fridge or anywhere as far as you did it normal and the recipe you followed it well. Then it can last for long if you preserve it really well. And this is it. After microwaving it, I'm still eating it. It's back to normal just like it was yesterday. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and you can share with your friends or comment down below your observation or whatever, anyhow you think is right. Just write something about it, and I love you always.